All right, let's talk about that one part of Portuguese grammar that feels like a huge mountain for so many learners, the subjunctive mood. But what if I told you it's not about memorizing a million rules? What if it's really about getting a feel for reality versus, well, everything else? Okay, let's get into it.
I mean, really think about this for a second. In one sentence, we're talking about a real house. It exists. It's a fact that it has a view. In the other, you're just dreaming about it. You're searching for it. It's a desire, a possibility that might not even be real yet. And that tiny, tiny shift from fact to wish, well, that's the entire secret to the subjunctive.
You know, if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by charts and lists of subjunctive triggers and all their exceptions, you are definitely not alone. That's the hard way, and honestly, it doesn't really work. Today, we're going to try and replace all that painful memorization with one simple, powerful mental model. And that model is what we're going to call the certainty scale. Just think of it as a simple way to visualize where your sentence falls on this big spectrum, all the way from what's real and concrete to what's just a possibility, a doubt, or a desire.
Okay, so first, let's get the textbook definitions out of the way. Pretty straightforward, right? The indicative is for facts, things that are certain, things that are real. And the subjunctive, well, it's for everything else, the uncertain, the hypothetical, the unreal. But you know, these are just words. Let's see what this actually looks like.
So here it is, the certainty scale. This is the whole game. On one side, you've got solid ground, reality, facts. That's the kingdom of the indicative. But over on the other side, you've got this huge, hazy world of doubt, desire, and unreality. That is the realm of the subjunctive. And your only job really is to ask yourself, where on this scale does my ideal live? All right, let's put this scale to work. We're going to look at a few pairs of sentences where just one little word is enough to push us from the world of facts into the world of uncertainty. And bam, that triggers the subjunctive. So check this out. The key is the shift from é evidente to é provável. When you say it is evident, that's a statement of fact. You can see it. It's real. So we use the indicative, sente. But the second you say it is likely, well, now you've just introduced doubt. We've slid across our scale, and that means we need the subjunctive, sinta. See how that works?
Oh, this is a classic. If you walk into a store and say you want the specific book, a Gramatica, you're talking about a real, definite object that you know exists. So, it tem exercises. But if you just want a book, uma Gramatica, any old book that fits your criteria, well, who knows if that book even exists? It's a wish, an ideal. So it tenha exercises. It's all about a real thing versus just an idea of a thing.
And this one is just a brilliant illustration of the power of a single word. They only come tomorrow. That's a schedule. It's a fact. It's indicative, vem. But then you add one little word, talvez, maybe, and the entire reality of that sentence just dissolves into pure uncertainty. And instantly, you need the subjunctive, venham.
Okay, so now that we have the feeling for it, let's talk about the clues. I want you to think of certain words and phrases not as rules you have to memorize, but as giant, blinking neon signs that are basically screaming, hey, you are now entering the land of unreality.
And these are your signposts. I mean, just think about it logically. A word like embora, although, it introduces a condition, not a fact. Or a phrase like para que, so that, describes a purpose, a goal, something that isn't real yet. And of course, phrases like duvido que, I doubt that, or oxalá, hopefully. I mean, those are just pure uncertainty and desire. All of these words automatically pull you away from reality and over to the subjunctive side of our scale.
Let's look at this in action, see how it builds. In this one sentence, we get a double whammy. First, non creo que, I don't believe that. That's pure doubt, right? So that triggers queira. Then you get mesmo que, even if, which sets up a hypothetical situation. And that triggers va. Both of those phrases live firmly on the unreal side of our certainty scale.
Now this one is subtle, but it's so powerful. If you say he speaks in a way that everyone comprende, understands, you're describing a real result. It's a fact about his speaking style. But if you say he will speak in a way so that everyone comprende, now you're not talking about a result, you're talking about his goal, his intention. And that intention isn't a reality yet, so, you guessed it, subjunctive.
All right, now for a cool little twist. Sometimes Portuguese actually gives you more than one tool for the same job.
For certain expressions that deal with unreality, you can use either the subjunctive or this other thing called the personal infinitive, and they say almost the exact same thing. Don't worry about mastering this right now, just notice how flexible the language can be.
Just look at this first example here. É melhor que me digas a verdade uses the subjunctive, but you could also say é melhor dizeres-me a verdade with the personal infinitive. Both are expressing a preference, right? Not a fact. The meaning is pretty much identical. The key takeaway here isn't to memorize a new rule, but just to see that the language itself has different ways to handle ideas that aren't concrete reality.
So, here's the most crucial point of all this. We have to move away from consciously thinking about rules and get to a place where we instinctively feel where we are on that certainty scale. We want to make this a reflex. So here it is. This is your takeaway, your new mental checklist. First, always ask yourself, is what I'm saying real? Is it a fact? If the answer is no, you're already halfway there. Second, listen for those signpost words we talked about. And third, when in doubt, just lean into the subjunctive. Chances are you're trying to express something that isn't a cold, hard fact.
You know, at the end of the day, this isn't just about getting your sentences right. The subjunctive is the language of what it means to be human. It's how we talk about our hopes, our fears, our doubts, our suggestions, our wishes, our dreams. It is the grammar of our entire inner world.
So forget the endless lists. Just remember the certainty scale. The next time you're speaking Portuguese, just ask yourself that one question. Am I stating a fact or am I expressing a feeling? Once you start to build that instinct, the subjunctive is going to stop being a rule you have to remember, and it'll just become the natural way you express your world.